The story of Sodom and Gomorrah does not condemn homosexuality. Let me help you explain that to your evangelical conservative friends and family. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. So a bit of a content warning, this story from the Bible contains information about assault, so take care of yourself. So for those of you who didn't do the reading, aren't super familiar with the story goes like this. There are a couple of angels that show up in this town, Sodom and Gomorrah, and at the city gates, they find this guy named Lot. He's sitting at the city gates. That is significant, but I'm not going to go into that right here. And Lot invites him to come to his house and stay the night. That's what was expected of people in the ancient Near Eastern world. That's how you traveled. There were not hotels and stuff all the way. You went from city to city, and when you showed up, someone was expected to let you come to your house and feed you and do all of that stuff. That's what Lot did. So the angels, who look like just big men, go to Lot's house, they eat, and then it says all the men of the city, every single last one, was outside at the door and began to shout. Every man, except for Lot, is outside of Lot's house demanding that Lot put these men out so that these men can have their way with them, if you know what I mean. It's horrible, it's shocking, and it's not talking about relations between people of the same gender. It's not talking about homosexuality. What it's talking about is gang. The thing that TikTok doesn't want me to say out loud. And that is a horrifying thing. And then Lot responds with something equally horrifying. Lot says, actually, I have 2 daughters that haven't been with men. I will let you have them. And Lot is like standing outside the door trying to stop this from happening, and he offers the unthinkable. And in one sense, in this ancient culture, this is makes Lot look like he's really going above and beyond to fulfill the cultural value for hospitality, but everybody in the ancient world would have also thought it was horrible. But luckily, the angels pull Lot back in and stop that from happening. But let's be clear, all the men outside said, no, that's not what we want. We want the angels, the men that we saw. We want you to put them out so that we can do that horrifying act. And what's interesting here is that actually what was violated in this moment was 2 things: the violent act that they were describing, and that these people were from out of town. Like, there is this huge cultural value for hospitality, and they were being the opposite of hospitable. People are supposed to be able to come in your town and be safe and be protected for the night and be fed for the night and then go to the next town. That did not happen. And later in the Bible, it's made really clear that it says, look, the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was their lack of hospitality. It has nothing to do with homosexuality. And in fact, the whole modern concept of homosexuality is something that's new. It's not something that existed in the Bible times. The idea that 2 people could fall in love with each other and have a committed relationship with each other that were of the same gender didn't even occur to them. The idea of homosexuality is a modern idea that is a result of a lot of insight and scientific research and all of the things that have happened from then until now. So you can't even map the idea of modern homosexuality to any of the ancient practices because they didn't have it. The words are not the same. But there's layer upon layer of information, like why Lot was sitting at the city gate and all of that stuff, that is fascinating about this story. And if that kind of information, this kind of information, is interesting to you, you should check out the podcast, Unbelief Podcast. You can look for it anywhere you have podcasts. Just search for Unbelief. So if you're ever in some church leadership meeting and you find them taking ridiculous things out of the Bible literally, instead of just taking the Bible seriously, you just take a drink out of your cup here, your tumbler, and the link to this is in the bio.